Like the threat of the whip, I snap, attack, thrust the back. In this thing called rap. Nigga like a shovel, rhyme double on a heavenly level. Bang the bass, turn up the treble. Radical mind, day and night, all the time. 714, wise, the rhyme. Maniac, radiac, winning the game. I'm the lyrical Jesse James.
Short show today. I think I'm gonna piss a few off today. I got some spoiler shit going on today. Promise you. I heard some craziness today. I gotta address it. What's good? Hit the share, hit the tag, let somebody know where you at. We on the runway. We about to take off. Who with me? Come here. It's my girl Nia's birthday today. What's good? Happy birthday. Crystal Will right in the building. She say it's Mia's birthday, y'all. It is her birthday. So she's blessing us. Tell her I said happy birthday. Tell her Uncle Wyatt said happy birthday. Who with me? Short show. Come here. All right, check it out. Come here. Put your seatbelt on, relax. We're about to take off. Good evening. Steve Feed is in the building. Room, Angela Kinney is in the building. Put your seatbelt on. Let's go. All right. Check it. That is very, very, very good for a Monday. Who's pumped up to be here on a Monday? She said, thank you, Uncle Wyatt. That's what's up. It's my girl Mia's birthday. What is she, 20 today or something like that? God, you getting old, young lady. You getting older. What is she, 8, 19? How old is she, Crystal? I'm curious to know. I want to know. I should know, right? But I don't know. How old is she? Put it on the screen. I'm dying to know now. I'm dying to know. Angela Kinney comes in and says, solutions. I'm dying to know her age. She says, I'm hyped. Yeah, you are. You should be. You've done an excellent job. Oh, my God, 19 years old. Wow, Mia is 19. Seems like she was just 19 months. They were babies a little while ago, weren't they? It's amazing. Children make you age. They make you grow fast. You turn the corner and you're a decade older because they're 10. And you're like, damn, what happened to my 20s? Okay, I remember. I had flashes. What happened to my 30s? Ah, damn, that was an even faster flash. And as you're flashing your life away, your children seem like they're going year by year real slow. But before you know it, they're 18. Wait. The first one is 13. The first one in your children is 13. Let me put this down. When your child excuse me, when your child turns 13, you really feel like a parent. I mean, that's when you feel like your kid's getting older. That's what I'm trying to say. When they turn 13, I don't care how old or how young you are. When you get a 13-year-old, that's when you feel like, damn, I got a teenager, right? And then right after 13, what's the next number? 16. 16 really start making you think about your life, not theirs, your life. You be like, 16, damn, you can drive? We get older, and our kids don't help. Our children help us get old slowly. It happens so fast. It happens so fast. So they turn 16, and then from 16, it's the 18 number, and it's like, okay, you forgot all about how you felt when they turned 16. Now that they're 18, you're like, damn, I got an adult. And then, of course, there's another number that comes after 18 that now makes you feel like 18 was nothing. And that's 21. Now they can do shit. Now they think they grown. They already thought they were grown way before then. But now the numbers say they are really grown. Okay, that's a scary situation. Because now they can do things without your permission. Before they was sneaking, buying alcohol or buying whatever they buy, you got to be 21. Now they can do that shit and not even have to think about sneaking it. Oh man, it's a funny feeling. So 21, you still got a couple years, Crystal, but it's coming. It's coming. Let me set this up so I can read the comments, if you guys don't mind. Here we go. It's certainly coming. Let me see. Here we are. There we go. I got it set up. All right. So listen, it's Monday. What I want to say to you guys, I want to take the time out to say this to you because I really mean this. All right. This means a lot to me. Let me set this camera up a little bit better than that. I'm going to need a minute to get this over to you, but this really means a lot to me this Monday. I'm going to say this. I hope you hit the share or send this to somebody because I'm about to say something that I really mean from the bottom of my heart. And it's to all my Cincinnati folks. Okay. If I could sing it, I would, but I can't really sing, but I'm going to say it to you as easy and as nice as I possibly can. And for you haters out there, absorb it, take it in. Let me just say this. Who they? Who they? Who they? Who the hell they? Let's get it, Cincinnati. We're in the playoffs. NFL playoffs. Who with us? NFL playoffs, Cincinnati Bengals. Now check this out. We got a playoff game this weekend against the Las Vegas Raiders at home. Now we've already smacked them around one time this year. That kind of scares me a little bit. We don't want to go in there too confident. We don't want to go in overconfident. We don't want to do that. We want to kind of go in there and have, we want to go in thinking Super Bowl. We want to go in thinking, okay, this is just one stop towards our ultimate goal. And I wasn't too much disappointed about Sunday's loss to the Browns. I mean, it was backups playing their starters. They had some backups over in Cleveland as well. That wasn't a big deal. We were already in the playoffs. Chances of us moving one spot ahead in the playoffs was very slim to none. It was a very, very short. I mean, it was not a chance. It was a chance, but it was so slim that you don't want to injure any of your players. You don't want to press down too much before you get to the ultimate goal. And I think Zach Taylor did a great job with making those decisions. I haven't been all that happy with Zach Taylor this year because of some of his decision making. But I don't want to be too critical on the young man. Let me tell you what he is. He is a quarterback. He is an offensive-minded individual when it comes down to a football team. So he's a little bit more risky than I'm used to. I'm more of a conservative when it comes down to football. I believe you take the points. I take points. Whenever there's an opportunity to score, if I'm looking at anything where I could score or get a first down, I'm going to take the points. Points win games. First downs, they don't necessarily win games. You still got to score after that. You still got to move the ball after the first down. But points, You stack them. That's how you win games. And I was a little critical, not this weekend, but the weekend before when they was down there in the fourth and one and was trying to just do too much. I was critical on it. They got lucky. I said it. They got very lucky. And a couple penalties, couple things went their way. But you know what? Great. I'm glad it went our way finally. The reason why I'm happy that it went our way is because for many, many years, shit like that was just not happening for us, but happening against us as Bengal fans. So I'm glad to see that some of the energy is coming the other way around. Some of the favors and some of the calls are starting to go in the favor of some of these guys on our side. I'm happy to see that. So I hope your team, if you're not a Who Dey fan, if you're not a Cincinnati Bengal fan, I hope your team is in the playoffs, and I hope to see that they do well, except when it comes down to playing the Bengals. I don't want to see anybody cheering against the Bengals. The only time I might cheer against the Bengals, and now I can't. I will not cheer against the Bengals, even if we make it to the point where we have to play Tampa Bay. I can't cheer against the Bengals, man. That's just my hometown. Tampa Bay is a step team for me. My hometown team is the Cincinnati Bengals. Tampa Bay has been my team for about 5-6 years now, but they're not the Bengals to me. So that's the only way I will have any conflict. But if I had to make a choice, I'm going to have to put on my Bengal jersey or my Bengal gear against Tampa if it ever got to that. All right. But Who Dey, man, I'm telling you, the Bengals going to do some things. You got Chase, you got Chase in there. You got Burrows. You got Mixon, Higgins. You got the tight end. You just the only Achilles heel on this team, the hardest thing on this team to try to get past is that offensive line. The offensive line has its moments. When they play good, they play good. But when they bad, they super bad. Burrows has been sacked almost more than, I think he might have the record of being sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL. So it's shocking that they can even have as much success as they had because it's all about that front line. It's all about that. So I'm a little shocked that they've had that much success with the offensive line being as beat up and unseasoned as it is. Now, of course, we're not talking football. I'm just trying to get things warmed up. I am a Bengals fan, and the playoffs start this week. So I just wanted to throw that in the air. You probably won't hear me talk about the Bengals till the end of the week when we get closer to the football game, to the playoffs. Then you might hear me talk a little bit more about it because I'll be getting hyped. It's a home game. Here's the crazy thing, and then I'll move on. The crazy thing is it's a Saturday. Next Saturday, 4:30 is the game, right? Check this shit out. Now, my daughter, I have to be out of town this weekend coming up. Oh, no. We got to make some arrangements. We got to do something different. I have to be in Indianapolis on Saturday. And I have to be there real early in the morning, like 8 or 9. Now, like 7 or 8. Now, to drive to Indianapolis from Cincinnati is about 1 hour and 15 minutes away. So I should be done in Indianapolis by noon. So I'm hoping that expected snow, which I don't rock with, I'm hoping that snow on Saturday that's predicted turns into just maybe rain. Shit, just maybe rain. And if it don't, I got to figure out a way to get home safe so I can get back to the game. First playoff game that I'm going to predict with my hand on the wood. First playoff game that we will win since maybe 1990. Damn, I want to be in Cincinnati for that. I don't want to be in Indianapolis watching it on a big screen in front of a bunch of Colts fans that didn't even make it to the playoffs. That's, I'm not that type of fan. I want to be amongst the family when we win or when we battling. I don't want to be in Indianapolis watching it and the Colts fans rocking old ass Peyton Manning jerseys talking about the days that it used to be. The shit that we do. What we used to do in Cincinnati. Some of y'all still rocking Ickey Woods jerseys, doing the shuffle and shit. Those were the days. Those were the great days for the Bengals. But now we got a whole new regime. We got a whole new situation. So with that being said, I'm just going to say this for the very final time. Who Dey? And we have the Raiders coming in town. That's going to be great. That's going to be good. All right, so look, let's get started. It is Monday. What do I got on here? I'll check my Bengals playoff stuff off my list. Let me ask you guys something. is this COVID thing like, is it really bothering you? I mean, what's been your biggest setback on the COVID situation? It's COVID-19 and the Omicron situation. Has it been a fear? Are you fearing what's going on with this with the new COVID stuff? Because what I'm not understanding is it seems like we're right back at the beginning with needing tests and a whole bunch of people contracting this COVID. But what I'm saying that is different, no one's talking about, is the death rate. Before, this thing was like if COVID touched you, you were gone. It was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't mean to be nasty or rude, but like when this COVID shit came out and you heard about it, it almost hits you like AIDS. It sounds as deadly as an AIDS. Like if you contracted, oh my God. And it only took like a week for people to start understanding that it's a flu-like symptom situation that's been treated. And then when you see the alarming amount of people who had it and recovered on their own, then it started to calm down a little bit. People were just starting to understand what it really was. It's a germ floating inside your body. And now I'm trying to understand some things on my own with a little bit of information from here and there. I'd like to know who's all panicking still about this situation. I don't want to downplay it because I've lost a couple friends to COVID. It's been written down as COVID. I don't want to discredit it, but I do have a few questions. And, I've had some family members, some friends, family members pass away on it. So I'm real sensitive in it because I don't want people to think that I'm on some, I don't want to stir up conversations and then be stepping on my friends' toes about certain things. But I do have a lot of questions about the death rates of what's going on with COVID. A lot of this stuff is just not adding up to me. And I'm talking about from experience. I'm talking about, I have a cousin in Detroit who died of a heart attack and they put COVID on his birth certificate. That's troubling to me. That's troubling to me. And if he did have a heart attack and they say it was due to COVID related, then put down heart attack, COVID related. Don't put down COVID. Attach the heart attack to it too. I think that's important for us to know. Just for in studies, proper studies. If you're going to go by the science, make sure that the science is using the real data, the real thing that's happening. That's just how I feel. I'm no doctor. I'm not trying to be one. I'm a man with common sense, and I have my principles and things that I want to try to stand on, and I stand on proper information. And I'm not sure that we're getting all the proper information because you're hearing different doctors and the CDC and all this shit is coming up with different stuff daily. And it's not because the stuff is changing. It's because the things we're doing is changing. It's not the COVID is being the COVID. The Omicron is being the Omicron. It's doing what it do. We're changing. We're changing how we're giving the information and what we're doing about it. So I say, I'm vaccinated. I believe that everyone should get the vaccination if they choose to. But at the same time, I'm an individual that believe in choice. I think that it's a choice. You should take if you want that shot, you should have the shot. You should have access to the shot. You should have no shaming if you don't want the shot. This is just being an American, a human being, having those options. And it's a shame that we got to go through all this political BS. And what did I tell you? I know somebody hit me on the DM. You always say what I tell you. Well, that's what the show is. That's what we talk about in the conversation. But what did I tell you a year ago? I said, now, if y'all don't get the shot, the government can never make you get the shot. Okay, it's unconstitutional. But they're going to do everything in the world to start doing what? Mess with your money. I said, they may not be able to make you take the shot, but best believe your job can. Oh, your job can make you take the shot or you're not going to work there anymore. Now, you can fight me, disagree with me, not like me, all you want to. It's not my thing. Y'all know I'm pro-choice of shots and everything else. But at the same time, I knew that the government was going to hit below the belt and they were going to threaten your livelihood. And that means telling people, like they started, any company over 100 employees. Here's my question to that. I think it's a fair question. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking of one big company that's mandated their employees to get this shot. And it's like Citigroup, Citibank, or somebody like that. Citigroup, something like that. Thousands of employees they have. And they're saying if they don't get the shots by like January the 14th, which is in what, 4 days, that they're going to put them on administrative leave, and then they're going to have to be fired at the end of the month. So how fair is that? You tell me who. Now, here's my question. Not is it fair? Hey, Miss Myers, there she go. Queen. Love it when queens enter the room. I always stand. Bow. But here's my question. Not only is it not fair, but my question to you is this. For Citibank to take that type of stance and to make it a vaccine mandated work environment, do you think, or maybe you know and I just don't know, maybe I'm slow to the beat on this, but do you think that they have been incentivized by the United States government? Do you think there's a financial gain, a financial stimulus from the government to Citibank? Do you think there's some type of incentive that the government is passing on to this company for them to mandate it to their employees? Is that a fair question? Is that a fair question? There's Tiffany Daniels, another queen just popped in. Tiff, try to answer that question for me. I need somebody, I need my smart folks. Only Wyatt-Live can answer this. I need my smart folks to answer. Do you think, Lance, what's good? Do you think that this is an incentive-driven, I don't know, proposition? I mean, from the government to these workforces. And if you come up with the answer that I have, and I think I'll share my answer. My answer is yes. I believe that the government is incentivizing these companies to make sure that all their employees get the shot. And they're using the medical, the health factor. We got to start somewhere. Let's get the workforce. That's why they did it to the military employees or government employees, such as military and military office workers, G4s, G5s, people that work for the military. They got to start somewhere. And one of the conversations that I had a long time ago was, if the government can't pass it, if they can't make you take the shot, they definitely will force it somewhere down the line. And I'm telling you now, I'm just going to give you a heads up. I said this before. I'm going to tell you now. Excuse me. For those that want to be slick about it, I know we all think that we're going to be able to go take a test weekly. Here's the next move. You don't see it coming yet, so me and my crystal ball is figuring this one out for you. Crystal Mike. I don't do a crystal ball. Crystal Mike. Me and the crystal Mike are going to tell you what's going to happen next. You may not take that. You may take that test every week, and you may have COVID. You may not have COVID. But let me tell you what's going to happen. Soon as they do away with that weekly testing because it's too expensive or too inconvenient, let me tell you what's next. Your insurance premiums will go through the roof. Now your company, I've said this before, now your company, who you work for, will no longer pay their percentage of the premium for your life, not life, it could be life insurance or your health insurance. You're going to get beat up. What y'all don't understand, this is government, and I know I might get flagged for this, to be honest with you. They might cut this conversation, because it might sound like I'm against the government. But this is how the government rule. This is how they take care of. This is like how they take over you and make you do something that you don't want to do. And I'm not. What's up, Sabrina? Sabrina Calloway, another queen, just entered the building. We got royalty in here tonight. I'm not anti-government and shit like that. I just know that when the government starts to make you do things and mandate things, look out. My question is, what's next? So you have to be careful. This is why I say I really limit how much government involvement I have in doing business. I limit how much government involvement I have in taking some type of check or funding from them, because when you take that money, nothing's free. Okay, you'll learn. We all have learned in life that nothing is free. And there's a price to pay when you snatch the tag. All right, when you snatch the tag that they're willing to give you, there's a price to pay for that. Sometimes it may even be as high priced as your dignity. So you may want to, you may want to think about some of those things. And don't be so hard on those. Like I said before I make this comment, I'm a vaccinated man. My entire family is vaccinated. No, I haven't gone as far as the booster shit yet. Okay, I haven't done that because my immune system was kicking ass before I even got my shots because COVID was rapid around me, and I was doing okay. And I took the shots anyway, just to boost my immune system, and it worked. I've done okay, knock on wood. However, I'm not much of a fan of the booster shot. I think I'm gonna maintain what I have. I'm not promoting it, nor am I saying it's not good for you. I'm just speaking on what's good for me. Let me explain something to you on this situation of the shots. When I told you that I felt like the government was going to move into your employment and force the employment to push the shot on you, I also felt like, what's a good way to say this? I also felt like it was going to be something that we was going to have to do on a regular basis, so to speak. Like there's another strain that they're looking at right now, and it's a combination of the COVID and the Omicron. They call it Omicove or Cove. It's a combination of the two words. I probably should have that written down. I just discovered it on my way coming into the show. And it's amazing that they're already starting to find all these different strains. It's going to happen. COVID is going to be here. We just have to learn how to live with it. I think some of us have been saying that since the day that since a year ago. And we're going to have to learn how to live with it. And man, this thing is getting serious. But here's my thing. I'm listening to a lot of misinformation. I'm not going to knock people up in the head about this COVID shit, but I'm really concerned with what people are listening to out here. That's my place in life. I'm not here to save everybody, but I am here to expose some inconsistencies and to look at some of the things that we may want to look at before we start jumping to conclusions on certain things. And one of those things is the death rate. There's a lot of false information that's given out. The death rate is not a false information, but it doesn't seem to be the big push now. The big push of COVID and it's these new traits of it is the ability to catch it. Well, the ability to catch it has gone up, and everybody who's getting it, the death rate has dramatically dropped. And here's the other thing. They never said that if you was vaccinated and had the booster or whatever, if you were vaccinated, they never said that you couldn't get the COVID-19. They just said that the vaccination shot was to help and build up your immune system to fight the disease. I understood that. But one of the things they failed to tell you is that even if you get the shots and you catch it and you get it and you beat it or whatever, they never really told you that if you catch COVID and you have no symptoms, that you can still spread it. That came up at one point, but they didn't say if you were vaccinated, you could still catch it and spread it. That never really came up. They were talking about people whose immune systems were strong enough to where you couldn't even see, you couldn't detect that they had COVID. And those people were being irresponsible, not knowing that they were passing it along. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a little confused. So you're telling me people that are vaccinated can actually pass this on to people who are vaccinated? So we really need the shot just to beat the COVID, not to prevent the spread. I'm confused. Somebody help me understand this, because if that's the case, it's never going anywhere. If all you're saying is that you can continue to contract and catch COVID, but the immune system and the shot helps you beat it, you just won't die. Nothing will happen to you. However, you still can pass it on to someone who's vaccinated or unvaccinated. Isn't that like a cold? That's the same shit. Some people get flu shots and still catch a cold. I don't know. I'm a little confused, guys. I am a little confused. But you know, for each his own. For those that choose to get vaccinated, I'm with you. For those that decide not to, I'm with you too. You know, that's the beauty of America. The beauty of America. See, they used to shame you. They could say, if you are not vaccinated, you are ruining everybody around you's life. That's not necessarily true. Now it's very clear to me that if you're vaccinated, you can still contract COVID, but you can beat the COVID. What is it? 17 more times. You're 17 times likely to beat COVID. You're 20 times likely to survive it. No, it's the other way around. Excuse me. I just learned this on my way walking down here. But they said that if you don't have the shot, you're 17 times likely to catch it, 20 times likely to die from it. Okay. If you decide not to get the shot, you should have that right to take those chances. But to say that it's irresponsible that if you catch COVID and you don't have the shot, you can pass it to everybody else, that's very inconsistent with what's going on in America right now. People with COVID, people with the COVID shot are catching COVID. People with the shot is spreading it to other people. And they're spreading it to people that have the shot already. Try to make it make sense. I don't get it. So you can't shame someone that doesn't have the shot, because all they're going to do is either pass on their own, and if they catch it, they can still pass it on to somebody, but so can I, being a guy with the shot. I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding it. And here's the thing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Tiffany. Thank you. Tiffany said they keep moving the goalpost. And now at the beginning, y'all, we had that excuse. And I was riding with the excuse because it only makes sense. The science is changing, so the explanations will change. This is changing. You know what? Here's my thing. You expedited an entire vaccine, but yet the science kept changing. You talk about, You talk about confused. Wait a minute. How were you able to get a consistent read on a vaccine, but yet the science continues to change? Don't you need that same science to be able to make a real vaccine? I mean, it only matters. Listen, look, I'm not the smartest dude in the world, but my fucking common sense meter is in the red. The bullshit meter is in the red. Justin Sharp says, what's up, Jay? Justin Sharp says, that's the problem with people. That's the problem. People with the shot think they're immune and don't take no more precautions. Here's the thing. Believe it or not, I was one of those dudes, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like one of them guys who felt like his immune system was powerful enough. Then I went and got the shot. And then I was walking in Kroger's because it started picking back up. You know, the counts start going back up. And I'm walking through Kroger's like I'm Superman. And I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not being safe. I felt the shot was safe. You know, I thought I was doing what the doctors and what the science told me to do. However, when I learned that you can still contract it, now that changed my whole game. I still wear my mask now. When I go into Kroger's, I always take the cart and get the little wipes and wipe the handles. I do everything I was doing before. I'm not a scary cat. I am a cautious cat. All right? I'm not scared of it. I'm just cautious. You know, but now here's what I'm thinking. I know I've had to. I've been around a lot of people that had it. I've been in shows in different cities, you know, around a lot of people. I've been around a lot of people. I think we all have. And at one point I would have never said that, because when you talk about COVID, when you was talking about somebody catching it, it was like, oh my God, this motherfucker got AIDS or something. I remember one of my favorite actors, what's his name? One that played Forrest Gump. Damn it, I just said he's my favorite actor, but and I'm drawing a blank on his name. But when they said that your boy had it, let's just call him Forrest Gump. When Forrest Gump had it, somebody put it on the screen for me. That's gonna drive me nuts. You know how I am about shit like that. When Forrest Gump got it, I was destroyed. When he came out and they said, Tom Hanks, thank you, Tiff. I knew you was on it. When Tom Hanks, she said Hanks, but it's Tom Hanks. When Tom Hanks said he had it, and they were over in Switzerland or somewhere. I was like, oh shit, bro, get one more movie out of you or something. One more movie. It was like, it almost sounded like a death sentence. And then CNN, God bless them, Chaos Network, they continuously put the numbers, 25 million people contracting the virus. And then they would show 30,000, they would show like 160,000, 200,000, 300,000 dead. I'm still questioning those numbers, okay? But 200,000, 300,000 people dead. Wasn't it like something like that, 300,000? And I'm like, damn, that's a lot of people. Then I said 25, 26 million contracted it and less than 2% died. Oh man, we tripping. We tripping. Like tripping to the point where I like, you know, like if, I don't know how to say this, but it's an overreaction. I know I ain't gonna be the fan favorite for telling you how I feel, but it's an overreaction whenever you have something and you get 25 million people to contract something. And that number is much higher now, but you get less than 2%. That's a horrible rate. That's not successful if you're looking for death in something. You'd get fired if it was a job. If your success rate was less than 2%, you would get fired. So here's my thing that I want to bring up. Have you noticed that in Chicago that the public schools are closed? Now we're talking about Chicago, and I don't want to tip and tap on Chicago. I love the city of Chicago. It's a great place to visit, and they got the bomb-ass popcorn. All right, bomb-ass popcorn. Plus, that's my dude, Justin from Chicago. So, Justin, big ups to the Chi. But y'all school system is just as whack as Cincinnati. And in this case, I got to give them the more whack position because now the school teachers are all setting out. They're on strike, so to speak. They're setting out. Here's my thing. I got a problem with you all. I got a problem, Chicago school teachers, because in Chicago, the school is public school, but they have tons of private schools. They have tons of Catholic schools. They have tons of what do they call them? Charter schools. Tons of this shit, just like Cincinnati. My question is, why is it that your public school teachers are the only ones that's claiming to be sick? It's just like here in Cincinnati, you know, the teachers were first in line by the governor to get shots, to get, you know, COVID shots, to get the jab is what they call it. And here's the thing, a lot of money was allocated to the school districts to make that happen. A lot of money was spent, a lot of money was sent to the school districts to make safety protocols happen for these students. Now, I don't mean to shoot shade. I'm just being honest with you. But Chicago's public school system is no better than the city of Cincinnati's public school system. And the problem that I have is that we lost a lot of ground, the little bit of ground, the little bit of traction that we were trying to get with our kids in public school. A lot of them fell behind. All right. And you'll only know how far behind your child is once they start testing. I'm not talking about a test in a subject. I'm talking about when they have to take these tests of the grade level, like when they have to do tests that's going to get them to the next level. You know, here's how I know. I watched a lot of kids do a lot of things on Zoom, and they had to open the books. It's a lot easier to study and take tests and shit when you do it from home. I know I did the shit when I was in school and we didn't have internet, we didn't have Zoom, we didn't have none of that shit. I had all Zoom and internet and all that shit written on my arm. I had all the answers in my palm of my hand. Don't judge me. Don't act like I'm the only motherfucker in here that wrote shit on his hand when he was trying to cheat on a test in school. I had the whole information on my hand. This was my internet right here. Proper examinations of the computer. I had it all on my arm, on my hands, and everything. Cheat sheets. Remember those? Well, these kids have more than cheat sheets. They had the whole damn book right in front of them. And the split screens, and they can, okay, the answer to what is this and what is that could come up on side screen, and they can just have the answer in front of them. So now GPAs are going to go up without these kids actually knowing how to come up with the answers, what the actual answer is. So we'll see how smart this generation truly is when it's time when we start looking at testing, college entry exams. We'll start seeing. And I mean, I don't even mean it just at a high school level. I'm talking about universities. They did the same thing. Some of y'all got a doctor right now that's about to graduate who don't know what the fuck they doing. They cheated all the way through medical school for the last 2 years. I'm only kidding. You might not want to get you a lawyer fresh out of school right now. His ass might not know. He might have to grab the book out when the judge says something to him. What? Wait a minute, hold on, Yana. I'm just saying. They may not get the shit. Might take them a while. But anyway, here's my thing. I want to give you some real numbers that trouble me a little bit. These numbers trouble me a little bit. Just a little bit. Let me give you these numbers right here. There it is. All right, so look. American Rescue Plan is what the government put out, right? It's what the administration put out. 2.5 billion. Okay, that's a B. Not million, a B. $2.5 billion went to the Illinois school system. 2.5 billion went to the Illinois school system. And these teachers are sitting out. Now, it's not they have 2.5 billion on the way. It's not that they have 2.5 like it'll be there in a minute. No, they received 2.5 billion in funding. And they can't figure out a way to be safe in there. So why'd you take the money? See, now they got the ransom. They got the money. Now they got the money. What'd you spend the money on? What are you spending the money on? Like I told you before, I have a friend of mine who's a principal in Cleveland, Ohio. And you know what he told me? This is like off script or whatever. This is real shit he told me. He said, we have problems getting substitute teachers in our school. Now, why I'm bringing this up is because my daughter just said the same thing to me today. She said in her class, one of her teachers brought up the fact that they have problems getting substitute teachers coming in now. Substitute teachers make $90 a day. Do you know you can go work at McDonald's and make $90, make more than $90 a day? And I don't mean that's not shooting shade at McDonald's, but don't you think that you should be paying somebody a little bit more for such an important job of teaching our children? Having that responsibility to sit there and, watch our children, take care of our children. I think it takes a responsibility. But here's the thing. Substitute teachers make $90 a day, basically, for the 8-hour shift, 8 hours of work. But yet you can make $25 an hour being a tutor in the same school system and work from home or go to their home or something like that. It's like we have a backwards system in a whole lot of different areas that we're not working on. We're not concentrating in these areas. But I want to get back to this 2.5 bill. I want to know, where is that 2.5 billion, Illinois school system? What did you do with $2.5 billion that now you feel like you're not safe to be in your schools? Now, meanwhile, I'm not going to have this feeling for nothing. It's not all just about the money. It's, well, what are the other school systems doing? What are all the other schools doing in that same system? The private schools, the charter schools, the Catholic schools, they're all in school. I said the same thing here in Cincinnati when everybody was bitching and complaining about Cincinnati CPS shutting down. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. There's schools around CPS that are still up and running. So these kids are going to school every day, but the other kids are staying at home. Make it make sense to me. Are those kids getting sick at school? And is it going to be one of them moments where CPS was just smarter than everybody And at the end of the year, everybody else was going to be sick, dead, and gone, and on ventilators and shit. You're on, even a damn judge, a supreme judge came out with misinformation. Now that's the scariest shit in the world to me. A lot of people just left, but they need to hear this. A supreme judge just came out and said some shit that was crazy. The supreme judge comes out and says there are 3,000 plus children from school in critical condition and on ventilators in school, and that's not true. Here's one thing I want to explain to you about something. There's a worker shortage in the medical field. It has nothing to do with COVID. That was coming anyway. That was in the works. There's a workers shortage. And then the fact that you let a bunch of nurses go because they wouldn't get vaccinated, that helped the shortage. Here's the other thing that's some misinformation that a lot of people don't talk about. Here's something. Hospitals stay at a high capacity of being full anyway. And in the wintertime, every winter, every year, that capacity level gets even higher. So is it fear mongering? Is it something that's going on that I'm just trying to figure it out, guys? I just want to figure it out. Because to me, when they start saying things like our capacities are full, we're at a maximum, we're at an alarm ringing capacity. Well, number one, your capacity levels change because of your workforce. Not all your rooms are full because you can't occupy them with staff. That's what it is. And it's not because those staff members are sick. It's because you don't have the staff for one of two reasons. Either they left to go do something else with themselves, or you got rid of them because they wouldn't take the shot. It's not because the staff is sick. Let's be real. Who works in a hospital and who can verify or who can deny or who can tell me that I'm wrong? But if you look at the study of hospital occupancy, and I'm not talking about the baby ward. I ain't talking about where ladies are having babies and it fluctuates. I'm talking about the emergency rooms and ICU units and stuff like that. Those units stay at a high capacity anyway. So they put this narrative up in the air that the reason why they're at a high capacity now is because they're full of COVID patients. I ain't buying that one. I'm not buying that one. Here's the thing. Here's the other thing. I'm not going to get confused with someone having COVID and someone on their deathbed. Two different things. You had 25 million people at one time who had COVID and they got over it. They got over it. So I'm trying to understand this whole thing. Now, I'm not going to talk about COVID all day. I can't, because it's just a puzzling thing and everybody can just question how you feel about it. And I get it. I understand. I question how I feel about it sometimes. But I know one thing, the deaths aren't nearly what people said they were. And everybody's talking about, well, it's because we got the shots. Well, okay. Most of the kids in school hadn't got the shots. What's the death rate of children? Let's not look at adults with pre-existing situations. Let's look at the same children that are not going to school. What's the death rate of the children that are not going to school in that age group? Elementary, K through 12. What's the death rate? How many of them are actually on ventilators? How many of them are actually so sick that they just can't do shit in life? Or are they immune systems able to fight this thing like the majority of the 25 million that contracted it in the first place? I'll let you ponder on that. I'm just tired of the bullshit, because as soon as we get over this one, there's going to be another one. There's already one in the works. They sprinkle out these new names of traits of this. They sprinkle new names. There's another one on the way right after this one. Now what we're going to talk about. I think the government is sitting back waiting for us to start talking about freaking stimulus packages again. It's like they want you to beg for their money. That's setup. That's purpose. That's on purpose. I can guarantee you that's on purpose. I don't want your money. Now, I know some of you going to be like, oh, why are you tripping? Man, I'm going to take anything they give me. And you keep on enabling. You keep on supporting that system. Keep on. and we'll never get back to normal. I don't think we're ever going to get back to what we once thought was normal. I think we're going to have to make adjustments. All right, I'm getting off that. Hey, listen, I was listening to the radio today. Here's a good one. Let me see if I got this. Let me see. Where is it? Yeah. I was listening to one of the radio shows today, and they were talking about black folks and bank loans. You know, I enjoyed this shit. I even had to call a friend of mine, and I said, man, you hear this shit? We already were on the phone. Well, we were, I started listening to a little bit of it, and then my buddy called me, and I'm like, bro, I'm listening to this show, and I'm listening to so much misinformation. I'm listening to what people say happens to them, but they always only give one side of the story. You know, y'all all got friends. We all got, well, not necessarily friends. We all know somebody that got a story to tell about what somebody did to them, and they only give you the story that happened. They only talk about what happened to them. They don't never talk about what the fuck they done did to somebody. They only talk about what happened to them. Well, hit the share, because I got a story to tell. Not necessarily a story. I just want to clear the air on a couple of things. They were talking about, now, you know, we got to always get into things like redlining and all the shit that happened in the day, okay? That always defines our problems for today in most people's lives. Those are called chaos agents. And I don't want to go hard at chaos agents because, you know, they do have some valid points. Things did happen, you know. People get beat up, all right? Somebody got beat up. That's why he a punk today. That's not why he's a punk today, because he got beat up. He got beat up because he's a punk today because he never grew up out of being a punk. He was a punk back in the day. My point is this. Bad shit happened to people. It's not what happened to you. It's how you bounce back from it. If you knew a dude that got his ass beat in school all the time and he grew up a punk, he did have one time in his life, he had an opportunity to get away from this shit, to get away from them people beating his ass at one point. He then went off and done something different. He had a chance to restart. He had to get over the tragedy that he went through and grow out of that getting your ass kicked all the time, right? Anybody ever been bullied? You ever been bullied and then you end up stopping that bully? Did the bully just happen to get tired of effing with you? No, you had to put something on his ass to make him get tired of, like, I ain't gonna mess with his crazy ass no more. That's what you had to do. So here's what happened. I'm listening to the radio and I'm listening to this segment of us not getting bank loans from local banks. And I mean, if they said it, I'll bring up the names of the banks. One of the banks was Fifth Third Bank. The other one was PNC Bank. And they were talking about how bad these banks are because they don't want to give black folks loans. And some of them were talking about, you know, I had a credit score of 750 and they wouldn't give me a bank loan. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if you saying you have you have a credit score, which is a beacon score of 750. Are you really telling everybody all the information? Because you can have a beacon score of 750 and not necessarily have the best of credit. See, sometimes your credit history is not just based on how you pay your bills, but it's based on your installment loans. It's based on how many installment loans you have. All right. And those are loans such as mortgages, anything that's on a 30-day rotation that you have borrowed money against. That's an installment loan. Okay. You can have a 750 beacon and not have shit but a bunch of gas cards, you know, Chevron and Shell and what's the Speedway. You can establish your credit and do all that. But what's your high score of what's your high loan amount and what's your installment loans look like? That's what they look at. So before you start spearing all this bullshit about I got a 750 beacon or a 750 credit score, how much money are you trying to borrow? And what is your high credit limit? In other words, if you got a credit card that's worth, you got a $500 Macy's card, okay, or whatever the hell, Macy's or Dillard's or whatever, department store card, and you out here with $500 credit highs, and you go to the bank thinking you about to borrow $20,000, it's not gonna happen, Captain. Even though you got a 750 beacon score, it's not gonna happen. You got to build your installments. You have to build your installments, your installment credit, like a mortgage, a car loan, anything. Let's just say an installment is like, okay, I go borrow 20,000 for a car. That's an installment loan. So I got a 60-month payment, and I'm paying XYZ per month for 60 months. They want to see your history of that. They want to see your history on that. They don't give a shit. Look, your beacon only gets you so far. That'll get them to pay attention to your shit. But let me tell you something. When they run a credit report, the first thing they see is the beacon score. Oh, they'll pay attention. Oh, shit, 750. Bingo, we got one. And then when your credit report comes, some people got a 750 beacon, and the credit report come, and it got this much. It got 5 pages of shit. You're probably good. You probably got installment payments that are paid off. You probably got a bunch of credit cards in good rotation. You got a 750 with a history. But some of you got a 750, and when they run it off, they see the 750, and then when the credit score comes, it's this long. Your pages are that long. You don't have enough. And there's nothing wrong with that. Listen, sit back, relax, put your seatbelt on. I'm about to show you how to get it right. Here's what you got to do. Stop listening to motherfuckers over there talking about how somebody did them wrong, but they don't give you the full story. I did something that was asinine crazy on Wyatt-Live last year. I applied. Now, keep in mind, I've worked on my credit. My credit is immaculate. That's just, I know importance. Look, credit history is important for so many other ways than borrowing money. I don't use my credit history to borrow money. It served me a whole different purpose. I'll get into that one day. Okay? Today, maybe at the end, I can tell you why. But look, you can have a 750 beacon and not be worth the credit risk because you don't have a history. You don't have a credit history. You have small amounts. What's your debt to income ratio? Does anybody know? Okay, I ain't gonna ask questions because nobody gonna answer. Debt to income ratio is this. Say for instance, you have a job and you're making XYZ amount of money, and you bring in. I'm gonna use a round number just to keep it simple. Let's just say, for instance, you have you bring $1,000. Now I know this is low, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody. I'm just saying, just for purposes of making the numbers round, just work with me for argument's sake. You bring home $1,000 a month. That's what you bring home. All right. And you have a total of about, let's just say $300 a month going out. So you have 30% of debt to income ratio. Okay. 30% of your income is going out. That's kind of high, but that's where it stops. Right around that 25 to right at 30%. Anything over 30%, they really, really look at your situation. And I don't give a shit what your credit rating is. You can have a 750 beacon, but if you got 45% debt to income or 50% debt to income, you really can't afford anything. You are one mistake away from not being able to pay your bills. You know, like a water heater go out or something go out. Or something happened to you, death in the family, something that will take or wipe away your savings. Banks look at that. And I know it's easy to say I got turned down because I'm black and I went to Fifth Third, and I done already told y'all a situation that I said Fifth Third took a hit on and they had no business doing that. And I know why they did it, but I'm not happy at the fact that they did it. I'm not happy at the fact that Fifth Third took that hit for the car dealerships in the city of Cincinnati, because guess what it did? It did exactly what I told you it was going to do. It gave people of Cincinnati, especially people of color, it gave them an argument that Fifth Third ain't shit, they're racist, and they even settled a lawsuit. And I'm telling y'all, Fifth Third should have never done that shit. But what Fifth Third did was protect their interests with their business partners, and that was car dealerships. When you go buy a car from a car dealership, Fifth Third don't know what color you are. They only know what they underwrite. They only know the customer that the dealership sends them. I hope y'all follow me on this. Here's my other thing, and I'll get back to that. But I want to get to the juice and the meat of what they were talking about. Oh, these banks don't give us no loans. They keep moving the criteria and blah. No, they're not moving the criteria, bro. What they're doing is this. You get a denial letter, because you can't tell me if you've ever applied for even a measly credit card or anything that you're trying to get a credit in any kind of credit card or any credit or installment loan or anything. If you get denied, it is a federal law that they send you a letter. And in that letter, it's going to tell you either you're approved or you're not approved. And if you are not approved, they will have to give you your reasoning. Well, poor payment history, not enough credit history, whatever it may be, you have the explanation right in front of you. And y'all know about a year ago, I did something very crazy on Wyatt-Live. I told y'all this is my couch. This is how I vent. This is how I get a chance to pass game sometime. Now, a year ago, what happened? 2 years ago, I applied. It was before COVID. You know, all the Steak and Shakes shut down. They were all corporate-owned stores, and now they're trying to make them franchises. So what they did is they closed them all, shut them all down, restructured everything, and then start putting out fillers on possible franchise opportunities. Well, me being the entrepreneur that I am, I wanted to know what was the possibilities of me getting a franchise. Because I like the food. I like the milkshake shit. I don't know. And here's the thing. I went through the whole process for almost a year. It was like 7 or 8. It was about 8 months, 9 months. And I had my meetings in Indianapolis. And I got a letter when I was getting down to the big frame. And I knew what it took. My payment history, everything was great. But I knew what it took. My lack of experience was one of the things that I knew would draw me down. You know, I didn't have history. I didn't have experience in the food industry. None. Nigga, I worked at La Rosa's for 1 day when I was a kid. And when they told me to cut all that cheese and do all this, I pieced their ass out. I was 18. I left. You had me come up here at 6 in the morning to prep cheese and shit for pizzas? That big ass block of cheese, I gotta cut that? That shit was heavy, y'all. I pieced their ass out that morning. Told you, I've been almost fired from every job that I've ever had. Yeah, that was one I pieced out, though. I was young and dumb. I shouldn't have done it. But I did. However, I got a denial letter from Steak and Shake saying, oh, no, all your numbers and everything look good. And they had to give me my reasoning. And one of my reasonings, and I shared the letter right here on the screen with everyone. I let everybody see it. I let everyone see it. I'm not embarrassed. Because I knew if I really wanted one, I didn't have to go through their process. I mean, I don't mean their financial process. I probably had enough to be able to do what I wanted to do. But once I got that letter and they showed me what I really needed to know, and that was your lack of experience in the food industry might not be a success in one of the locations that you're trying to get. And then I had to put my big boy pants on and say to myself, hey, they might have a point. They may have a point. Some of y'all might think that it was the Jedi mind trick and they fooled me. But I'm smart enough to know. I've been around long enough to know when somebody's saving me from myself. That might have been a bad investment. But I shared the letter to you guys on purpose. The reason why I shared it is because I wanted to show you we all get denied. But when we get denied, they also show the reasoning. And my point of bringing that up is whenever you get a credit card or whenever you apply for something at Fifth Third, PNC, or any of those places, if they deny you, they send you a letter and they tell you why. Now, you can appeal it. You can do whatever you want to do. But what I suggest to you is you take what they say and you evaluate what they say against what you actually provided them. And if you feel there's some discrepancies in their evaluations of you, then that's when you look at it again and say, wait a minute, hold on. What do you mean I don't have enough collateral? Because that's not a word that was mentioned on the radio today at all. I think I'm the only one that typed the word collateral. Nobody mentioned collateral. Now, I don't care if you're in, and here they were confusing business and personal loans together. They were all over the place when they were trying to make these points. But don't confuse business loans and personal loans, although they all require some form of collateral. However, had one man say, well, I was trying to borrow 125,000 and they told me I needed 50,000 in the bank and I had it. Okay, that's one criteria. You think because you have $50,000 in the bank that now you qualify for 125,000. You think that's the only qualification that it takes. Now, let me ask you something, big guy. Just for the hell of it, for argument's sake, are you willing for them to put a lock on your 50,000 until you pay off the 125? Because that's still not enough. But are you willing to do that? No access to your 50,000. No access at all. You can't use it for anything. Something happened, you can't use it. You willing to do that? Well, let me ask you something. Think about this. Even if they have a lock on your $50,000, they gave you 125,000. So in 2 years, if something go bad, who's out of money? Them or you? You lost 50,000. You up a little bit, right? They look at stuff like that. Had nothing to do with you with black, bro. Bring all the information to the table when you're trying to share it to the public. See, this is what I have a problem with. Look, here's my biggest frustration of Wyatt-Live. When I talk about shit like this, nobody's listening. When everybody's talking about misinformation and all that shit, not only is everybody listening, but they got something to fucking say about the shit too. Yeah, I guess I'm on one right now. I shouldn't be, but I am. Because you don't understand. The key to success is having right information. It ain't me. I'm not the key to your success. I'm not the key to nothing. I'm just telling you that the key to your very own success is making sure you're following a road that's leading you to the success. You can't go through all these damn back doors. You can't go through all this misinformation to get where you're going. You're going to find yourself on a whole bunch of one-way streets going in the wrong direction. And that's what happens when you listen to some of these situations and you don't have all the information. You're being misled. You know, and I'm like, okay, you got 50,000 sitting in the bank. You're trying to get 125. And the reason why they didn't loan it to you is because you was black. These banks don't like black folks. That's what you got out of that. That's what you pushed. Here's what I say to you. Here's my rebuttal to that whole argument. For those that stuck around, I appreciate you. Get something out of this because this ain't what they talk about. Get something out of this. Here's what I ask you. I've been with a black-owned bank for 17 years of my life. 17 years of my professional life, I've been with a black-owned bank out of Illinois. So my biggest question to everybody that was bitching and complaining about they can't get loans from Fifth Third and PNC because we're black, my question to you is this. Well, why haven't you reached out to a black-owned bank? And the only reason why I say, why haven't you reached out to a black-owned bank? Because if the black-owned bank is there for you and they give you the same denial, would you feel the same way that the bank don't want to give you money because you black? No, what you might do is pay it a little bit more attention and be like, well, damn, they say my debt to income is low. Or damn, I don't have enough established credit in this particular area. Or damn, whatever the black bank tells you, will you roll with it? Or will you come up with another reason of why they didn't give you the money? I'm not saying that you're lying, that you're wrong, that these banks don't rock with us. I'm saying, what are you doing about it? What's your option? You know you have options. I've been with a black bank, like I said, for 17 years of my life. However, just to let you know, I didn't get started with the black bank. I had to start with one of these banks that you're talking about that don't do shit for us. I had to start the way I knew. I did a collateralized loan. I established my installment loan credit with these guys. And I took that payment history onto the black-owned bank. I didn't bitch one time. I didn't bitch about it. I had a plan. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build my equity up in a banking system, and then I'm gonna find me somebody that's gonna let me do what I want to do based on my history my history over there. That's what I was able to do. So now my question to you is this: you don't have access to an out-of-town bank? That's bullshit. If you have a mortgage, chances are you don't even pay mortgage to a company within your own city. Your credit cards, where do you mail your credit card payments to? Majority of the money that you owe in installment is owed to a bank out of town. Come on now. Come on now. The majority of the money that you owe somebody, if you have a mortgage, do you have a mortgage? You might mail it somewhere, but is it going to a Cincinnati office? Is it by a company that's owned and ran in Cincinnati, Ohio, or in your hometown, wherever you may be? Chances are not. Chances are you're mailing it to an entire another state. So why can't these people that you see as loan officers who send your applications around the country to out-of-town banks, why can't you be proactive and do that yourself? Why can't you send your information to a black-owned bank? You mean to tell me you can't Google black-owned banks? How about you come to my page and just look at my page, and I'll guide you there. If you're part of the Wyatt-Live Messenger group on Facebook, I'll get you that list. I ain't giving you no names because some of y'all too raggedy with how you do business or how you do shit. Don't name drop. I took way too long building my reputation and knowing these folks for me to be giving my name out to somebody talking about, yeah, you asked for such and such, and you go over there talking about, Wyatt told me to call you. He said y'all had a little something over here for me. Shit, you can't tell no, can't do that one. I'm cool, but I ain't fool. I'm cool, but I'm no fool. So my question to you is this. You done bitched and complained about how Fifth Third and PNC and all these banks don't rock with you. But what did you do? Just not get the money? Have you ever applied at a black-owned bank? Now, this is for my chaos agents that talk about that black shit. Because the last time I checked, banks aren't working well if they're not loaning money. Banks can't be powerful if they don't have clients. See, I've never bitched and complained about somebody not taking my money or them making money off of me. I've never bitched and complained. If a restaurant ever told me to get out, nigga, bro, you shit. I'm out before you even get the last part of the N-word out your mouth. I ain't spending my money with you, and you ain't. I don't feel no better being able to eat in your restaurant or do whatever, sleep in your hotels, whatever. It don't make me feel no better about me because I'm fitting in with you. That don't make me feel no better. I will find somebody who will appreciate my money. If you want to make some money off of me, you're gonna earn it. You're gonna earn it. And you ain't gonna manipulate me to feel good to spend my money with you. I got somebody, an old head, who I looked up to, who bought Cadillacs all the time. You know, it shames me to say this. I have to say it because I wouldn't be Wyatt if I didn't say this. But he felt good every time he walked in that damn dealership and bought the car for full sticker because he could. See, to me, it's foolish. You didn't negotiate? No, man, it's me. I got the money for that. They don't expect me to negotiate, son. They don't expect me to negotiate. Fuck, I'm going to negotiate for. I got the money. They told me the car was XYZ, and that's what I'm going to pay because I got it. See, that's foolish to me. That's foolish to me. You feel good spending your money with somebody because they know you got it. You don't ask no questions. That's foolish to me. You feel special. Now that's a mentality. See me, I would have shopped that shit. I would have been at every, and it was Cadillac. I would have been at every Cadillac dealer that was within an hour trying to figure out that same car. How can I save money? Y'all ain't gonna believe this, but I buy my Mercedes in California. You know why I buy my Mercedes in California? Here's a secret for you. It's cheaper for me to buy my cars in California and have them shipped back on a freight truck than it is to buy one locally. I know y'all ain't gonna believe that, but it's cheaper. You buy cars where the market is saturated. Sorry. It's just little shit like that we need to learn how to do. And I'm giving you the gems to do it. And some people are like, whoa, wait a minute, Wyatt. Ain't nobody about to buy no car all that. Man, listen, let me explain to you what I did. Now, and I don't care. I hope I'm not trying, I hope you don't take this like I'm trying to like gloat or some bullshit. I just want to make this make sense to you. I flew to California was able to stay in a hotel in California, buy the car in California, ship it back for $700 on a freight truck, because the trucks are coming from West Coast to Cincinnati. They go to Detroit, then come to Cincinnati. I was able to do all of that and still save money on this particular vehicle. If I can save $12,000 on a car in California, I'm not going to spend $12,000 getting it back. I ain't going to spend half of that. Some people will be like, oh, Wyatt, shit, that's too much. I ain't about to work. I ain't about to go through all of that. Well, okay, then I'll be $9,000 up. I'll stay $9,000 up in the difference. You pay $9,000 more because you don't want to go out to California for a few days. Sound like some fun shit to me. And you don't want to stay in, you don't want to go out there, maybe visit a friend or two or get to know some people out there. I got friends out there. So Big Don was out there showing me around. Shit, you know, we went to Compton. I'm out there picking my whip up. We went to Compton. That was how long ago was that, Big Don? He probably ain't watching, but that was years ago. I get a chance to go do the things I want to do and see, go to Hollywood, do all this shit. He drove me around, stayed at the crib, did all type of shit, saving $9,000 on my car. What, I was supposed to give Mercedes-Benz of Cincinnati or Mercedes-Benz of Westchester wasn't there at this time. I was supposed to get a Mercedes-Benz dealership $9,000 extra just because. Let's get off of the car. Let's just move on to something different now. Let's talk about these banks. So you trying to tell me that it's not worth your while to Google or look up banks that might fit your mindset? You sit back and you think that Fifth Third is not doing business with you because you're black. You sit back and say PNC is not doing business with you because you're black. Mind you, I've had problems with both of these banks. I don't know that it was because I was black. I've had problems for problem reasons, real reasons. But even if that was the case, if I felt like any one of those was doing something to me because of the race or because of the judgment was off because of some other thing, some underwriter looked at me different or whatever, then I would take my business elsewhere. And to be honest with you, PNC is one of those. I don't want to taint them, but PNC is one of those that I don't do business with anymore. And I don't do business with Huntington Bank for reasons of personnel. People I had to deal with at those banks were not really friendly. So if the corporate don't want to do anything about these leveled people at those banks, then I'll tell you what, you don't have to please me. I just won't do business with you. Bottom line. And me, I'm not going to shut down PNC. I'm not going to shut down Huntington Bank. I can't do that by myself. But my mental was right. I shut down my accounts with them. I'm not doing business with them anymore. Here's the thing. We have too much technology. We have too much know-how. We have too many people that have been in a position to prove what I'm telling you. Google black-owned banks. How many of you who got this mindset of black this and black that, black own this and black own that, how many of you got $15 in a black-owned bank? What makes you think you have to live in a city where your bank is right there when you know you can use an ATM machine to do the same? When you go on vacation, Fifth Third don't go with you, right? Fifth Third ain't in every city. PNC ain't in every city. Your credit union ain't in any city, in every city. You use your bank card. You do the thing. Sometimes the fees might be a little higher, but it's well worth it. So you telling me you can't open up an account with a black-owned bank online? You telling me you can't go do these things? Is it that you don't do them? Or is it because you don't want to, or you never knew to do it? Or did it not enter your cynical mind? While you sitting back here talking about all these other establishments, have you ever thought about supporting an establishment that looks like you since you think everything is against you? Have you ever thought about going and establishing them? How many of you have $15 in a black-owned bank? Raise your hand. And I'm not talking about my regular folks who don't bitch and complain about this shit. I'm talking about my chaos agents who want to sit back and bitch and complain about the banking system and how they redlining us on bank loans and all this old shit that went on back in the day. How many of y'all who got all this pro-black shit going on with yourself? Let's be honest. Come on now. Let's be honest. I ain't talking about going to pick up a black-owned t-shirt. I ain't talking about going to buy some plants at your black-owned store. I ain't talking about that little shit. And that's important to do. But I'm talking about the most important thing in this country, and that's the banking industry. How many of you roll your money through banks? We all do, right? But how many of you got your money in a black-owned bank, since that's so important to you? The economy, economics. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. How many of you got your money in a black-owned bank and got a debit card or a credit card from that same bank? So when I start hearing people talk about shit like the banking systems and how they against us and blah, 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 only you can make the change. You can't make them do business with you, but you can go do your business with somebody else that'll be totally happy to see you. Totally happy to see you. Totally happy to see you. Let me read this statement. I didn't got off to a craziness start. Sabrina Calloway, what's up, Queen? She says, we know people thrive on dysfunction. They will never tell the entire story when they are the common denominator to why something went wrong. Of course. Here's my thing. I hope you're still here, Sabrina. I agree with you totally. But here's my biggest frustration, and I don't want to call it dysfunction. I'm going to call it misinformation. Here's my biggest frustration. People will call the radio stations or podcasts or, and they'll bitch and complain about what's going wrong, but they don't have a counter. They don't tell the full story. I got guys that talk about me behind my back, but the story that they tell is the story that they want to be heard. They never talk about, well, why did Wyatt do that? Why would he do that? I know this dude. Why would he do that to you? And most of the time, the shit they talking about is not right. It's fraud. It's fake. But let's just say somebody turn around and say something about me to you. I mean, say something about you to me. The first thing I'm going to say if I know you is, really? Wow, he never done that. He or she never done that to me. And that's not the character person that I know. It's weird that they would do that to you, but not do that to me. I find that to be a little odd. See, I shut shit down like that. I shut it down. Now, granted, I've done business with a few people in the city of Cincinnati that will go nameless. And when I've done business with them, I was truly warned. I was warned by a lot of people. Don't do that. Don't touch that dude. That dude ain't no good. Why? He gonna burn you. He gonna this and this and that. And I went in with all my radars on. But I dealt with with individuals on purpose. I told I told Drop the other day. He didn't agree with me, but I said, you can learn a lot from a dummy. He said, no, you can't. I can't. I said, sure, okay. For each his own. I don't think that you can only learn shit from smart people. I think everybody has a value. And I don't want to call people stupid. I'm just saying everybody has, like, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to call people stupid. However, what I will tell you is there's some people that'll go learn shit for you. Okay? I call them do-boys. Sometimes I call them crash dummies. You know, the dummy that they put in the cars that go crash, the crash test guys. Those are dummies. I learned a whole lot. Better put your seatbelt on. Or they know, I look at people who do certain things and don't mind being a crash dummy. I look at them and I learn a lot. Now, you can take that for whatever you want to take it for, but I learn a lot from crash dummies. Now, my man Drop from California, he says that he can't learn anything from dummies. Well, the last time I checked, Drop, let me just say this to you. You're probably not watching, but I'll say this. The last time I checked, one of the highest rated books that ever came out was that whole book line of Computers for Dummies, Fixing Cars for Dummies. There's a book line that's titled For Dummies. So yeah, there's somebody that even knew that the importance of paying attention to dummies is marketable because they know that you can learn from dummies. They know that. And I know you probably think, oh, no, why you crazy? That ain't true. That's okay. I'm all right with being wrong. I know I'm wrong. So let me just say this to you. I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say how many of you got money in a black-owned bank. It's actually my way of saying, if you in this bullshit of what they talking about, then go be proactive. Get you a bank that you can brag about. That makes sense to you? Go to a bank that you can brag about. Go put $100 or $50 into a bank account online with a black-owned bank. Get you an account started, and then try to borrow money against them with the same paperwork, with the same situation that you tried to borrow with the white bank. But here's what I don't want to hear. No, here's what I do want to hear. I want the same energy when them ninjas tell you no. When they tell you no for the same paperwork and the same reasoning, I want to hear what your words are. I want to hear what you say. Here's what I have a problem with, quite frankly. When people come out with this narrative of the reason why I didn't get what I needed or what I wanted is because I'm black. They didn't tell the whole story today on the radio. I heard some good shit. I heard a lot of riddles and rhymes. I heard pimp talk. I heard a lot of people talking about I had 125,000. I was trying to get, I had 50,000 in the month. I did me like, I heard all the little fly shit. Okay. But one thing I didn't hear is I didn't hear debt to income ratios. I didn't hear what collateral was lined up. I didn't hear what the 125 was for. I heard apartment building. I heard shit like that. But there's so much to go along with that. You think that you can just walk in there because you have a great game plan, that they just gonna loan you $125,000, even with a $50,000 piece of collateral? That's not even half. That's not even 50% of the loan value of the loan that they're giving you. It's not even half. So let's reevaluate. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that everybody believed these stories and these people that were talking. I'm not saying everybody believed it. But I will say this. It seems to be something that we don't have a problem doing, and we say it loud and proud. Then I listened to the afternoon show, and the same shit was going on. You had a chaos agent come on there, and I don't know if y'all know, but it was a young lady that came on there hollering and fussing, and she was all over the place with all type of wrong information, talking about Donald Trump didn't give a shit about Emmett Till's mother. Emmett Till. She said Donald Trump should have said and done something for Emmett Till. Emmett Till? Should Donald Trump have done anything for Martin Luther King the day that he died? Should Trump and that administration done anything for Rosa Parks? I'm just curious. This lady said that Trump should have done something for Emmett Till. Emmett Till died 50 years ago. What are you talking about? That's what we get. She was on there, she wouldn't get off her circle either. She was going crazy about the shit. And these racist people, he could have did better. He could have did better. He ain't had to do them like that. Come on, sis. You all over the place with this shit, and you so wrong. You don't even know what you're talking about, and you so passionate. I love the passion. Give this lady Passion of the Year award already for 2022. But babe, that's like arguing. You know, you're arguing about something. You know, you trying to convince everybody that 2 + 2 is 5. Everybody know 2 + 2 is 4, but you're very passionate about your 2 + 2 = 5 evaluation. It ain't gonna never be 5. And your dates and your accusations and your blame game was all over the place, and it was wrong. It was wrong. And you come on the radio with that shit, blasting it, high waves. Some people riding in their cars listening to this shit. Some listening to it on their cell phones and on iPads and all this old shit. And you out here all over the place. God bless her heart. She was so passionate. I just want to bottle that passion up and give her some real shit and let her go at it with it. Give her some real shit. She could go with it. But it's got to be real, sis. Everything that's wrong with us is not because of somebody else. I'm about to say something to you that's going to get me exiled from this whole Wyatt-Live platform. Y'all ain't going to like me. Hit the share because I'm going to need some new friends after I tell you this piece of truth. Please hit the share because I'm going to tell y'all about to look at me and be like, did that ninja? I say ninja now, out of respect when it don't slide out the other side. did that ninja just say what I thought he just said? This might be the exit of me for making this analogy. This might be. Oh, Jenny says she'll be right back. Jenny, hey, I want to say this to you before you leave, sweetie. Thank you for sending all that positive information. Thank you for sending all that positive Black, like entrepreneurial stuff in the messenger, in the Wyatt-Live messenger. You be on one, you really be on one. I really enjoy those articles that you send. I really do. Thank you. When she's so positive. Hold on. She's so positive. Jenny sends shit like Black businessmen acquire a $500 million loan. I mean, I'm all over that. I love reading that type of stuff. Jenny be all over it. And she sends it all the time. And I love it because she finds these articles from other cities and other places. And I love to see the, Black ownership in an airline. I love to see that. I mean, I know it exists. Jenny knows it exists. She shares it with us. We all know it exists. She says, you're very welcome. She says, you're very welcome. I'm glad you stuck around to hear that because it's very important that some of us share that information. She says, you're very welcome. We need that. We absolutely need that. Thank you, Jenny. It's important. And I'll never get tired of reading it. Now, some of them articles be kind of long, but I get the gist of them. It's like Black entrepreneurs who are establishing. You would not think, see, a lot of people missing in the Wyatt-Live. A lot of people need to come over and read the stuff and see the direction of our people, because if you listen to some of these, oh, no, we shall overcome. You listen to these ninjas all day, every day, you would think we ain't doing shit but out here killing each other, right? Wrong. And then you take my information and the shit that I'm talking about and you look at it like, oh, I'm trying to be better than people. He always talking to, y'all seen and read some of the comments. I shared them. You always talking down to us. You always talking down to your people. All you do is talk bad about your people. Really? How about I just expose some of the bullshit we fall for? How about that? How about people making livings off your ignorance? How about that? Is that me talking? Am I down low enough? Am I talking low enough for you? How about people have been exploiting us for many, many decades based on ignorance? How about that? How about that? Damn, now that's a bad start to what I was about to say. When I said I was going to get kicked off, y'all ain't going to mess with me no more. Woo, that's a bad segment to get into. I shouldn't have said it, but I got to now. I have to now. I had a mentor who watched me invest and do things, and this particular person always told me, you can't let everybody know what you're doing and who you're doing it with and what moves you're making. I admired that advice. It's true. This mentor also explained to me something that we all still talk about. I know ain't nobody really watching, so I'm gonna say this like ain't nobody really here. It's just you and I. Just me and you. That's it. Just me and you. This mentor would tell me things like, hey, what's up, Cleopatra? Thank you, sis. Love you, queen. This particular mentor would tell me that don't share your information. Don't let everybody know that you run that business, that you do this, you do that, because you don't want people to know. You don't want, what he was basically telling me is you don't want white people to know what you're doing, because if they see what you're doing, they'll stop your progression. They'll stop you in midstream. I grew up thinking that. I grew up. And then there's these commercials that come on locally in Cincinnati. I know some of you have seen it. The guy and his daughter, and they're home repair people. And it's the daughter and it's the guy and the daughter. They started, she was a little girl. And they started out and they would always end the commercial with, we'll save you a lot of money. Y'all know that one. That's the home improvement guy with his daughter. And I think she was probably 11 or 12 when they first started. And now she's like 30 with her own kids on there saying, we'll save you a lot of money. Who all know that commercial? If you know that commercial, thumb me up one time. Call us and we'll repair those walls. We'll repair those floors and we'll save you a lot of money. That commercial there. And you know what I used to say? I was a young man in business and I would see that father up there with his daughter. And my mind was set and locked I can't bring my family on TV and do commercials in the city of Cincinnati like that, because I don't want white people to see me in my business that I've had for a few years now, because they'll stop my progression. I've been brainwashed to think that. There you go. The all good commercials. Thanks, Sabrina. That's what it is. And he would get on there with his daughter, and she was a little bitty old girl, and she was what, 10, 12 years old, something like that. He was older, and they would always in the commercials, and we'll save you a lot of money. And I used to say to myself, damn, I got daughters. I got daughters. I want to do that. I want to do commercials. Wyatt Bonding, and we'll save you a lot of money with my daughters. Well, my youngest wasn't around yet. So, yeah, 8 to 10 years old. So let me explain. I had this thing in my mind about I want to do that. But I also had in the back of my mind what I had been taught. And that is, I don't want to let people know what I'm doing. I can't let people know. I can't let white people know. I mean, I'm just, it's been hammered in my mind. It's, you know, no matter how smart you are or how dumb you are, there's things put in your mind that stay with you based on how you were raised, or people that put it in your mind at a young age, and it stay with you. No matter what you know, you still have things that you go through. So I'm looking at how I was taught. Nah, Wyatt, you can't do that. Don't put your family on those commercials. Don't do it. Don't do it. Matter of fact, don't even put your face on the commercials, because if you put your face on there, they're gonna know you black owned, and nobody will rock with you. I thought that, and I always was a little jealous, not envy, but I was jealous of this man who would put his daughter on there and be like, we'll save you a lot of money. And then I got a little older, and I started seeing the type of help I was getting in the industry, in work, in the field. When you're an entrepreneur, you depend on resources. And I started looking at the fact that when people found out I was the owner, people would look at me a little bit different, but I never got much resistance from people that it really mattered. Okay. Some people look at you and be like, oh, I ain't fucking with you. You can't do nothing. You know, I ain't messing with you. You're black. Yeah, you'll get that. But then the moral of the story is this: as I got older, some of you will appreciate this, and I'm glad a lot of people are not here. I wish a lot of people were here so they can get this, but those that stuck around might appreciate this. What I learned over the years, and I know y'all gonna hate me for telling this truth, but I will never lie to you, and I can only tell you my truth. But what I've learned over the years is that if I would have put my daughter on there saying I'll save you a lot of money, it wasn't necessarily the white people I was gonna have to worry about. It was the hating ass ninjas that I was gonna have to worry about. See, I wasn't taught that. I know y'all tripping on me and you're ready to hang up on me, but just think about it. Think about who you've had the most problems with in your prospering and you trying to go forward. It's always people close to you, and it's always somebody that you kind of lightweight trust or you wouldn't think would do you wrong. I know that's hard to believe, but I wasted a whole lot of years by not putting my baby on that TV with me or on a TV commercial with me. And we go up there and we say, we'll save you a lot of money. Now that man up there with her and his grandbabies, and they all saying, we'll save you a lot of money. And every time I hear that commercial, my jaws get tight. And I say to myself, I effed up. I was taught something and it was wrong. And I should have included my family in my business. And I should have been taught to include my family in my business. And for some odd reason, we're not taught that. You know why we're not taught that? For many reasons. But one thing I do see is we got a whole lot of fake love and a whole lot of fake support. I hear people that I know ain't for the right thing talking about I buy black on, I love black people, and black folks this and this and this and that. And all you do is exploit us. And if black folks ain't there for your own benefit, you ain't rocking with us. The things that you call yourself doing for black folks, you're actually doing them for yourself. And it troubles me to be able to give my people this truth right now. But if I had to do it all over again, I would take my daughter, my family, and I would say, we'll save you a lot of money. But I know deep down inside, after all my experiences, it ain't them people that y'all told me I had to watch out for. You can figure out the rest. Now, you can call me a coon, you can call me a hater, you can call me whatever you want to call me. But one thing you ain't gonna be able to call me is a liar. Troubles me sometimes, some of the truth that I have to tell. And it troubles me that I kind of get in trouble for telling that truth sometimes. But if you heard as many stories that I heard for people that look like me, they're usually talking about people that look just like them. Sorry to say that. Sorry to say that. Oh, man. All right. I know I shouldn't have went into that, but I did. It was something that I've been wanting to say for a long time, and I finally got it off my chest. And I'm not going to lose it. I'm going to keep that right there where it is because it's my truth. Let me see here. Let me get this question done, and then I can move on to the next thing. Okay. All right, Phil. I know it's Monday, and I know a lot of people don't like digging in on Monday because it's another work day. Listen, for the record, let me say this to you, if you're listening. If you ever want some black-owned bank information, Brenda Harris, good evening. We're about to sign off here in a minute, Brenda. Brenda, you know what time we start? Brenda kind of new here, y'all. She don't know how I play. She don't know I be playing. She might be like, this ninja talking to me. But yeah, Brenda, we start at 5. All right, we start at 5. We got 5 minutes left. Get to it. Anyway, it's the best way to say this. She says, I'm at work. I know, Brenda, I'm just giving you a hard time. I just love the fact that you even tuned in for a couple minutes. Trust me, it's always good to have good people. If you ever want some information on some of these banks that I mentioned, I didn't mention any of them by name because I didn't want to promote anything like that. I promote us going in that direction, but I don't want to promote one particular bank. If you're interested in the bank that I use, I'll give you that information. But there's several. There's 3 or 4 that you can actually use. There's a couple in Chicago. There's one in Colorado. And there's some on the East Coast. There's a couple down south. If you ever want the information, feel free to reach out to me. But what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to put it up on the Wyatt-Live page, and it'll be some of the banks. And you'll be surprised. I've been a big advocate of building a relationship with banks. I'm tired of hearing people with, I'm not going to say made up stories about banks, but I'm tired of hearing the same chuck and jive and only hearing one side. I'm tired of that. And it just got a little too far today when the man came on talking about he got a 750 beacon score. That means nothing. There's a whole lot of other criteria that come along with having a high beacon score, if you want to call it that. Credit score, 750. That's a great score. But what do your installments look like? Your installment loans. What is your credit? There's a lot that plays into that. And what happens is people like that tend to, demotivate people that really want to do the right thing or want to give it a shot. Jay-Z told his uncle one time, his uncle was on his ass. His uncle told him one time, like, man, you ain't gonna never sell no million records because this is what you got to do to get to it and blah, blah, blah. He looked at his uncle and he said, no, man, you can't sell 1 million records. That don't mean I can't. And see, that's the way I looked at that whole conversation today on the radio. When somebody says Fifth Third ain't gonna give me no money, PNC they ain't gonna give me no money, and they think it's some other shit. What I would say to him is what Jay-Z said to his uncle. That same man that said he couldn't get 125,000 and he had 50,000 collateral and all that old shit. He didn't tell us the whole rundown, but I would look at him and say, Fifth Third might not give you 125, but I can get 125 from him. We look the same. Maybe our paperwork is different. Maybe what it takes to get it is different between the two of us. It ain't always because you black, bro. It ain't always because of that. And I just don't like when people come in with all that thunder, all that bullshit. And I'm not saying that there hasn't been a past where we had to worry about that shit. We had to count jelly beans to vote. Come on, man. I know all the history on that shit. I probably know more of it than the chaos agents that talk about it. They one-tracked. They know a little bit, but I guarantee you I know a little bit more about some of the things we went through. Because if they knew more, they would talk about more instances. All they know is the real key point, talking point, pinpoint situations, redlining, discriminating in the voting polls. They know all that shit. That's like knowing the civil rights people. It's like this. Everybody know who Rosa Parks is, right? Well, do you really think Rosa Parks was the only and the first black woman to take a seat in the front of the bus? You think she the only one that did that shit? No, she's not. There were several others before her. She got the notoriety, not taking anything away from her, and I know y'all all probably know this, but she got the notoriety because she worked at the NAACP. But there was plenty of people that did other shit before that with those buses. There was people that got hit in the head and stumped and all type of shit, fought for it. But the nice story is Rosa Parks refused to move off that bus. Didn't want to give up that seat. Nice, clean American black history story. There's way more to it than that. And it's the same thing with what I'm telling you. There's a whole lot more that go along with the shit that we just, that's like the obvious fight. A lot more. And I know a lot of people don't really want to take the time to learn all that. So that's why I tend to not talk about it. Because instead of talking about how dirty I am from getting stepped on by these motherfuckers, what I tend to do is brush my shoulder off and move on to the next thing. And that is how to use what I know to benefit us all. Yo, that's my time. This is Wyatt. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 5 o'clock if you can. If you can get here, get here.
Yo, check your mic. Let's set these levels.
Check, 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 check.
Okay, word. We got the sound. Let me know when the break's coming in.
Nah, there's no break. I'm just gonna go straight through.
Alright, kick that shit.
Heaven sent, I can prove this. Any crowd, turn me up loud. KR will move this. Long before Eazy-E this MC, he was ruthless. Kicking rhyme, spitting rhyme, fitting rhyme, freestyle. I juice this. Who's this? You don't know me, homie. I'm the one and only. I turn your tool into a toll. Tell you owe me. You ain't gotta go to the past to know me, homie. I'm KRS-One. My power is now and controlling. These rappers are bony and lonely. I'll catch them coming out of Shoney's. I don't Oscar or admire, they baloney. No phony. I spit with the time from the mind. So when I spit off the head, of course I'm ahead of my time. Yes, I'm better with rhyme, and it's evident I'm the lyrically benevolent kind. This you never gonna find. I'm spitting plenty medleys. This is work, not a job. Rappers are crying like the boss in reverse. They saw. That's when they get robbed and disappointed. They not anointed, get them set up like an appointment. I spit the same heat you like to joint with. Fire, spit the truth, no liar. Heaven sent, this is higher. The mic cooks, I write books. The heavyweight champion. The song becomes a knockout with the right hook. I'm raw, meaning not cooked. These fake rappers heads are down, cause in the face of KRS, they do not look. 40 cal style, I'm like big drums. When I heat up the cup to 420, it's done. Light up the cheeks with the chunk. I teach when I come. Knowledge reign is supreme. What these rappers speaking is dumb. It's a treat when I come. I'm not what you used to. I'm the return of Khufu all over these tracks like choo-choo. I'm the guru. So when my teaching premieres, it's gangsta. Hitting you and your man in the same car. These whack rappers fuck who they are. KRS is like a hooligan. Hitting them all with the same bars. Hooligans hitting them with the same bars. Your whack style just ain't ours. Venus to Mars. I'm teaching with bars. Spitting these bars. But youngins under 21 can't even get into these bars. So I don't blame them if they not seeing these bars. Cause when I hit them with my universe, all they seeing is stars. Speaking of bars, when I spit one, you can see it's all about impact over an income. The big one, multi-directional and exceptional. 10 of my first 20 albums are all collectibles. You feel the heat when I'm next to you, truly legendary. Underground, undetectable, and revolutionary. Most of what's going on today, you know we knew already. I tried to teach our people about poverty, it took too many. It shook too many. We can see what a curse is. So I re-emerge to show these youngins who the first is. The minister, frying rat chickens like churches. And the worst is seeing your temperature taken by nurses. IV bags, your family picking out hearses. It's like you at the Barclays Center, you won't survive these verses. Sprite means spirit, so I obey what my thirsty. The whole planet, so-called Earth, is what my turf is.
Hold up. Yo, I got this. Yo, this is about to be fire. Levels is on point. You sound good out here. Let's get this project started.
Who with me?
Like the threat of the whip, I snap, attack, front to back. In this thing called rap. Thinking like a shovel, rhyme double on a heavenly level. Bang the bass, turn up the treble. Radical mind, day and night, all the time. 714, wise the rhyme. Maniac, brainiac, win the game. I'm the lyrical Jesse James.